Hello everyone, Wisteria here, and today I'm here with my very first mod showcase, and as you can see by the title, I am going to show you guys the vegan options mod. And I stumbled across it and I was like, oh, why haven't I seen this mod before? And to my knowledge, I don't think a lot of people know about this mod, but in case you don't, I'm glad you do now. Okay, so let's get started. So the first alternative is an alternative to milk, and milk can be used for two different reasons, and one of them is for curing yourself from potions and another one is for baking. So if you look in the chest here, to make the plant milk bucket, which is alternatives for baking stuff like cake and cookies and things like that in Minecraft, you basically get a water bucket, piece of sugar, and 2 pumpkin seeds, and that's how you get your plant milk bucket. And I'm pretty sure this works for any mod that has milk in it. And the second milk alternative is soap, which is for curing yourself from potions, and you use a bottle of vegetable oil, rosin, I don't know if I'm saying that right, please correct me if I am, and a wood ash lye bucket. And you might be wondering, whoa, what's that? And we will cover this later in the episode, and there's actually a bunch of new items. And the second alternative is for bone meal, and bone meal can also be used for 2 things, which is white dye and a fertilizer. You just click it on the ground and a bunch of grass appears, and the one for fertilizing is basically called fertilizer, and the one for white dye is called white vegetable oil ink. So basically you get those two. You get the 8 pieces of fertilizer from a block of compost and saltpeter, which we will also cover later in the episode, and you get your white vegetable oil ink from a bottle of vegetable oil, nether quartz, rosin, and vegetable wax. And to get an alternative for ink stack and a slime ball, basically it's black vegetable oil ink and resin. To get resin, you just chop down some spruce wood, and occasionally you will get resin, kind of like when you dig in gravel, you sometimes get flint from it. I'm pretty sure it's kind of like that. And to get black vegetable oil ink, you just get a bottle of vegetable oil, charcoal, rosin, and vegetable wax, kind of similar to the white vegetable oil ink. And an alternative for string is jute fibers and kapok tuft, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing either of those right either, but please correct me if I am not saying it right. And to get jute fiber, you just break a bundle of jute, which we'll go over later in the episode again, and you get 12 pieces of jute fiber. And to get kapok tuft, you break jungle leaves, and occasionally you will also get kapok tuft from that. And to get an alternative for wool and feather is a kapok block and faux feather. And to get any kapok block, I chose white because it's the most simple. I guess you would just add dye. If you want a different color, you just put kapok tuft in a 2x2 formation in a crafting table or your inventory. And to get faux feather, you will need kapok tuft and a plastic rod. And an alternative for eggs and baking, like in cakes or cookies or whatever, and this works for every mod as well. You can either use applesauce or potato starch, and to get applesauce you just put an apple in a bowl, kind of like a mushroom soup. And to get potato starch, you just put a piston and a potato in the crafting table to get potato starch, but there is another way, and I will demonstrate that. It's that right there, but I will demonstrate that later in the video. And to get eggs as an object, like when you throw it, you get a plastic egg. And an alternative for leather, like using it in books and leather armor, is burlap. So to get those two, for the plastic egg, you will need 4 pieces of bioplastic in a diamond formation like this. And to get burlap, you'll need 4 jute fibers in a 2x2 formation. And to get gunpowder and rotten flesh, well, gunpowder is just gunpowder, you just don't have to kill a creeper. Rotten flesh, you put it in a green materials in a composter, I don't know if I'm saying that right either, I'm sorry. But you just put green materials like saplings, and that's the only one I know of that is green. Maybe leaves would work. But yeah, put it in a composter and rotten plants should come out. But for gunpowder, you just have to put saltpeter sulfur, and charcoal. I don't think it matters in which formation, but yeah, you get gunpowder from that, and we'll go over those two later. And to get blaze rod and pufferfish, to get blaze rod, there you just put a rosin, vegetable wax, flint and steel, and a plastic rod. And an alternative for pufferfish is a frozen bubble, like when you use it in potions. So you can either get a soap solution and 8 pieces of ice in a crafting table, or you could get soap solution and 1 piece of packed ice to get frozen bubbles. And for the ender pearl and gas tier, the ender pearl is just an ender pearl, but the gas tier has an alternative called the proof of suffering. And to get the ender pearls, you just get a raw ender bucket and a frozen bubble, and I'll go over the raw ender bucket later. And for the proof of suffering, you just get a gold nugget and surround it with fragments of suffering, which I will also go over later. And to get spider eyes, there's actually 2 different alternatives, and which is a false morel and a doll's eye. And these are both drops from different objects. To get a false morel, it sometimes drops from mycelium, and to get a doll's eyes, it sometimes drops from grass in a temperate forest biome, and I'm pretty sure that's a jungle biome. I'm like 80% sure. To get fermented spider eyes and mob heads, an alternative for fermented spider eyes and mob heads is fermented false morel, which is just that, but fermented, and the mob heads you could just make with these items. But to get the fermented false morel, you just get a false morel, some sugar, and mushroom. And to get a blank mob head, you just surround a piece of melon with paper mache. We'll go over the paper mache later. But when you get the blank mob head, you put it in the middle of a crafting table and surround it with certain dyes to get certain objects. And to get a wither skull, you just get a black dye. And to get a skeleton, you just have a light gray dye. To get a steel head, you either use cocoa beans or fertilizer. And to get a zombie head, you just put cactus green around it. And to get a creeper head, you just surround it in lime dye. So that is all the alternatives, and the items that you use to get these alternative items will be shown back here. So let's start here. These are some drops from that you get from some blocks. But to get a bone, you mine stone, which is the mod form called it fossils, but I'm pretty sure it's just stone. And to get saltpeter, you could get it from sandstone. To get sulfur, you could get it from netherrack. To get a jute stock, you could get it from a large fern. And for a fragment of suffering, you can get it from soulstein. And for sunflower seeds, you can get it from a sunflower. And these all have uses. And to get rosin in some of the items, you just have to put some resin in a furnace to get some rosin. And to get bioplastic and a plastic rod, you just put potato starch in the furnace to get 2 pieces of bioplastic. And if you put 2 pieces of bioplastic in a 1x2 formation, then you will get a plastic rod. And this is a straw bed. Let's just say that you couldn't find a jungle biome to get the kapok tuft, so you're like, oh no, how else will I use the wool? Then it's simple, just get 3 hay bales, and I'm sure this is vanilla Minecraft, so you'll know how to make it. 3 hay bale and 3 oak wood or any wood planks. And to get a straw bed, and as you can see, it says a bit itchy, which means that if you sleep on it and wake up, I'm pretty sure it gives you half a heart of damage. Yeah, and it's still nighttime because I turned the cycle off, which comes in handy because when we go over here, this is an ender rift, and this is how you get the raw ender bucket for the ender pearls. And basically you have to put this encrusted obsidian in a diamond shape like this, and any blocks, you get nausea when you step inside it, but so make sure not to step inside it, but just put any 2 blocks up here like this. You need to put water in here, which I will do right now, and you can use fences or any blocks, I'm pretty sure. And you don't need to do decorated like this, but I'm pretty sure you need a 3x3 hole underneath this. And to get the encrusted obsidian, you just put 2 pieces of obsidian, a diamond, and an emerald like this, and it is a little bit expensive, but it is worth it if you want the ender pearl. So basically, after you set it up like this, oh, and make sure to do it in the nighttime, because if you do it in the day, a block around this disappears, which means a block of encrusted obsidian could disappear, and that would be bad because that cost a lot. But basically how this works is you put some water in it and it should turn into like that after some time. Let's just clear this up. Oh yes, okay, yeah, it does turn like that, and over time it will rise up and you could collect it from the bucket. So just keep on putting water here. Oops, I stepped in it again to make something like that. Now back over here, this is the composting station, and first of all you will need a composter, and which is basically just a chest and 2 sticks like this. And if you mix green items and brown items inside the composter, then you will get a block of compost, and if you just put green items, then you will get rotten plants. And over here I got some rotten plants, and the higher the temperature is, it will compost faster. So, and you could check the temperature right here, and you could tumble it, and it could tumble like twice a day, I'm pretty sure. And it's 80% done because I set this up before I recorded. And onto the soap solution. And to get this, and this is for the frozen bubbles and the, yeah, but to get it, you will need soap, sugar, a water bucket, and a glass bottle. And it's pretty simple after you get the soap. And onto the bundle jute, which you use to get the jute fiber, and you just have to fill up a crafting table with jute stalks, which is a drop like I mentioned before, to get a bundle jute. And once you place it down and break it, you can get the jute fibers. And for the wood ash lye bucket, you will need, it's really simple, you just need a water bucket and 3 pieces of charcoal like this to get a bucket like that. And moving on to the vegetable oil and the vegetable wax. To get the vegetable oil, you will need a weighted pressure plate, sunflower seeds, and a glass bottle and a crafting table like so to get vegetable oil. And to get the vegetable wax, you just have to put vegetable oil in a furnace to get the vegetable wax. And these are wheat items like wheat flour and wheat dough, which could later be turned into seitan. But to get wheat flour, you just put a piston and wheat in a crafting table. But there is another way, like the potato starch. I will demonstrate that later. But to get wheat dough, you will need a bucket of water and wheat flour in a crafting table to get the wheat dough. And using the wheat dough, you could get seitan items, which is basically an alternative for meats. And basically you just put water bucket and wheat dough in a crafting table to get raw seitan, and you just keep on doing that until it's clean. Or if you want to save yourself the hassle, you could just put the raw seitan, the unwashed raw seitan, in a block of water. It will use up the block of water, but it will clean it. And I used an infinite water source, so it took up 4 blocks of water. So it uses up the same amount of water when you wash the raw seitan. And using the raw seitan, you could put it in a furnace to get regular seitan, which you can eat. Now for the paper, anyways, using the paper mache, you can get mob heads or like wither heads to fight the wither. To get the paper mache, you just need a water bucket, potato starch, and 4 pieces of paper to get paper mache. And before this video ends, I just want to show you the alternative ways to get wheat flour and potato starch, which I think is really cool. So basically, you set up a piston like this, and I don't think you need to set up a piston exactly like this, but it should be crushing the potatoes, and you just click it and you get potato starch. And same goes with wheat. I will show you right now. See, I've just found that really cool. So yeah, I think that wraps up this mod showcase, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys go download this mod, and I will see you all next time. Bye!